So now we are looking at this problem at binary. So we are given two binary strings A and B, and we need to return their sums. So it's something like this. We are given 1 and 1 and another string, and we need to return their sum. Let's take a quick look at how binary numbers are added. If you have 0 in binary adding with 0, the output would be 0. If we have 1 plus 0, the output would be 1. If we have 0 plus 1, the output would be 1 again. If we have 1 plus 1, the output would be 1 and 0. 2 basically in decimal. So 1 and 1 added to 2 in decimal. This is how you write it. So if I have a problem like this, 1 and 1 added to 1 0, 1 would be carry over here, 0 would be over here, and 1 and 1 again 1 0, 1 would be carry over here, 0 would be over here. Now over here we have 0 0 0, so this would be 1. So this is what we have output over here. Let's take a look at this example. 1 0 1 0, 1 0 1 1, 0 or 1 would add to 1, 1 and 1 would add to 1 0, 1 carry, 0 in the output, 0 0 1, that would be 1, 1 1 would be 1 0, and 1 goes over here. And this is our output over here. Now in this problem, adding 0 and 0 would be very easy. Adding 1 and 0 would also be very easy. 0 and 1 would be easy too. But when we add 1 and 1, it becomes 1 and 0, in which 0 goes to the result and 1 goes to the carry. How do we find out this carry and this result? So to do that, we are going to use some formulas which are very important to remember. Number one, how do you get the result? So from over here, how do you get the result? So to do that, let's assume this is called sum. In this case, that would be equal to 2. This result would be sum modulus 2. If you take an example, in the result we are getting 0. So 2 mod 2 would be 0. So over here we would get 0 in the results. How do you get a carry? So carry would be equals to sum integer division by 2. So if you take an example over here, 2 integer division by 2 is 1. And that is what is carry. Once you know these two concepts of binary numbers, you can solve this problem very easily. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the code. So I am here in the code editor. We are given this function add binary. It has two arguments a and b, which are the binary strings. In any addition, we start from the least significant bit and we move towards the most significant bit. So we have something like, let's say we have something like this, and we have something like this. So we move from the right to the left. To do that easily in our problem, what we can do is we can reverse a and b. So a becomes a colon colon minus 1. In Python, you can reverse like this. B equals to b colon colon minus 1. Also, we need a result variable to store result, and that would be a string because we need to return a string. And we can have a carry variable to store any carry if we have, that would be initialized to integer 0. Now, in our input, we need to traverse through A and B. In our input, we may have strings of different length. So should we travel until the length of longer string or until the length of shorter string? If we only move till here, we are going to lose this information. So instead, we would move until this. And when we do not have elements in the other string, we would assume those elements to be 0, which means we would loop to the maximum length of the two strings. Let's do that. For I in range max between the lengths of A and the length of B. Now let's extract the bits from both the strings. I would call it bit 1 equals to A of I, but there is a possibility that A of I does not exist. For that, I'm going to add a check if I is less than length of A. If that is not true, I'm going to return 0. Now over here, A of I is a string, and else 0, this one is an integer. So what I would do here is I would convert the string to an integer. Very similarly, I would extract the other bit from the string B, int bi if I is less than length of B, else 0. So now we have both the strings. Let's calculate the sum, which would be bit 1 plus bit 2 plus carry. Now we need to calculate the new carry and the new result. Carry would be sum integer division by 2. This would be the carry, and result would be sum mod 2. Since this is going to be an integer and I need result in string, I'm going to convert this to a string. This plus result. I'm adding result later because I want to do something like I get my results over here and then the next string is added here and the next is added here, here, something like that. I don't want that in the reverse direction, otherwise I have to return by reversing the string. So I am doing something like this. So we are done with this loop. We can traverse through the entire both the strings A and B, but we may be missing an edge condition. If you look at the example 2, both A and B are of length 4, but the output is of length 5. And that is because in the end, we have a carry left, 1 and 1, which would leave a carry of 1. So in our code, we need to check that. If we have a carry, let's add that carry to the result. Carry plus result. Now this carry is an integer and we need to convert this to a string. We are done with this. Let's return result. Let's try to run this. It's passing. Let's try to submit it. We have a solution.